So, in a previous episode, I had toyed with the experiment of whether or not you could have a seedless world in Valheim, or rather, an unseeded world. Created this character Disfro2, and according to my first video, supposedly had never played him before. But it took me 5 takes of the video to get the performance right, so I actually used him in every take of the video, so I played him 5 times, basically. So that's why I said supposedly. No, really, I had to. So anyway, so I created this world with no seed code, and as the experiment went, as you saw, I played the game each time, and it turned out to be the exact same world. But it had no seed code. And I thought, well, is this supposed to be what happens when it's random? No, actually it turns out that this is an actual seed in Valheim. And I'm going to show you how I proved that. First I went on YouTube and I looked up how to find your seed in Valheim, and the first matches that came up showing techniques of how to find your seed were showing how to find it on a server version of the game. In other words, someone else's world, if you were playing on a server, or if you had created your world as a server, and how to go onto your server host and find out what the seed is on the host website. That didn't work for me because this was an offline world. So I said what I need to do is at the very bottom of the screen here, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing to, what's my seed? Here, extracting your seed. For Legacy only, there's a way to find it here, but for Steam Cloud, here's how to find it here. And that is where you go to look up your seed. So let's pull up Explorer and find my program. Program files x86. Steam. User data. And then you have to, if you have several Steam games, you have to figure out which folder belongs to your Valheim. Wrong. Remote. Worlds. And see, it's not going to save Valheim. And then you find, now if you remember on my Valheim menu, let me go back real quick. I have Training, Maypoles, World 2, 4 Maypoles, and Seedless Grape. So if we go back to Explorer, we see 4 Maypoles, Random, Training, World 2, and Seedless Grape. Now I have something called Seedless, but that's when I first did the game. I could probably restore that game. But what you want to find is the FWL file and drag it to the seed generator. And here it says your seed is, there's nothing there. Click here to see in Map Viewer. And then it gives you a bunch of options of whether or not you've using an older version of the game or a newer version of the game, depending on different builds in the legacy history of the game. If you're playing a new version of the game, you want to select the top one. If you're generating a world right now or anytime after March 1st of 2022. So this is the map of the world that we're playing. And of course I'm gonna mark a few things to see if we can tell things that we want to be in this world. It's loading up boss stones. Come on, take forever, why don't ya? Okay, and maypole, beehives, villages. Mostly we're looking to find out what we can do on the world when we first started. So let me zoom in a little bit. This is our starting island here. Technically it extends over to here. There's some swamp there, which is kind of handy to know about. But primarily this is your starting island. We spawn here, and take note of this coastline here, especially this part up here. Now let's go back to our game. Start seedless grape. And pull up our map and look at this map. Look at the contours of the beach there. And compare that to what we saw in the World Map Generator. Yes, this is that seed. So, we've resolved the mystery. There is such a thing as a seedless grape in Valheim. Granted, it's still a seed, but still, if you were to take out your seed code and play a world, you'll be playing this world. And look at how few bees there are on the spawning island. Down here in the part you can get to immediately, there's only 3 bees. If you want to get good bees, you're going to have to go down to this island. So, mystery solved. Oh, I forgot to show you my build. Okay, so I took the house that I found, I extended one of the walls, and built a bed for my wife's player so we could both sleep in the house together. I put 2 fires in it with cooking stations over them. Note the half wall that I put to keep you from walking into the fire. I stacked my chest using half floor planks to fill in the gaps. Put my crafting station against the wall behind the door. And put these on the outside of the building so they don't take up space inside. And I've found 2 of the bees. Gotten some good honey from them already. Here's the last one over here. And here is how I did the outside of the house with the fires. Put a half wall above the fires so that you can feed the fires with wood if you need to, because you can't do it from inside. And the roofing looks a bit awkward. I may have to try and put corner roof pieces on that. But it protects it from the rain and allows it to be vented outside of the house. And I put 1 window in the house. And yes, it looks ugly. Let me show you from a distance. It's awfully misshaped. I need to work on my building skills, but still, it's functional and it's extremely useful. If I need to expand when I get a forge, I can extend the house forwards instead of sideways. And of course, comfort features. I've already added a deerskin rug. I need to get some fine wood to put a chair or a bench in there to increase my comfort level. But I haven't gotten to that point yet. Right now my wife and I are trying to kill a troll so I can get troll armor. As you can see, I have leather pants, leather helmet, leather tunic. And I've been quite busy building up everything. I didn't kill E3 yet. My wife just loaned me an antler pickaxe so that I could mine. We're going to build a trap for a troll. But that is where I'm at. I did not cut down too much wood in this area. I wanted to keep the clearing fairly well surrounded. On the other side of the world, or on the other side of the island, I'll show you over here, we built another house and we have cleared a lot of wood over there, going towards the beach, I think, this way, to get rid of some trees from the dark forest area. The dark forest is on the coast right there, and it gets thicker as we go that way, which is why I haven't gone that far this way yet. But that is the extent of that part of the island. Up here we have mountains, which is why I have not extended my search any further this way. And this is the beginning of a large chunk of black forest, or dark forest, up here that I have not gone any further into yet. There's a troll up here somewhere. So that's what I've done in this world so far.